Bill Henry here with Robinson Henry, here for Estate Planning Thursday, the day where I answer all your questions that I've heard throughout the week and just other things of interest I think you might find interesting, at least for estate planning and other law topics. So let's kind of jump right in. Some of this came from a Zoom conference that I held earlier today. We do those every few weeks, so make sure you look out for those if you'd like to have more of a presentation style and ask your questions in the context of that with a bunch of other participants. You're always welcome to join me there as well. All right, so first question is, should married couples or longtime partners have separate wills, and why? And well, boy, that's the next question. So should they have separate wills? Yes, absolutely. So in almost all cases, in fact, I've never done a joint will. I talked a little bit about this last week. So everyone should definitely have their own will. It is your own wishes. So upon your death, where do you want your stuff to go? So a couple, they're two different people, and you may own things that are not owned by your spouse in Colorado. So just to give you a quick example, if I have, let's say, a brokerage account, and that brokerage account is just in my name, and then my wife has, I don't know, a bunch of gold coins, and they're just hers in her name, well, where that property goes will really depend on whose will it is, right? Or who, when they die. So my will is going to say where my stuff goes. Her will say where her stuff goes. Now, at the same time, between spouses in Colorado, you cannot disinherit a spouse unless they voluntarily agree to be disinherited in a prenuptial or postnuptial agreement or a marital agreement. So anyway, the short answer to that is absolutely both spouses should have their own wills. So kind of correlated to that, what does a will not do? Fantastic question. So a will only transfers our probate assets for the most part. So probate assets are those assets that when we go to court, the court's got to say, so after somebody passes, they go to court, and the court says, hey, where am I supposed to give this stuff? Like, who gets this? Is it a charity? Is it the kids? Is it a spouse? And then if there's a will, that is the instruction sheet to the court as to where everything should go. Again, spouses do have rights under Colorado law, so you cannot just go ahead and disinherit a spouse. So they are entitled to a certain amount. There's a formula associated with it. If they are going to be disinherited, again, you have to, or the spouse has to agree to it. Next question. This is another great one, comes up in lots of different contexts. I own some land with an old friend. Our families have used it for years for recreation. How do I handle this with my estate planning? So what are they going to do with the land? Well, there's a lot of details. Of course, we don't have for example, joint tenancy with rights of survivorship, because if it is, then, upon that, whoever dies second will actually own the place outright, the entire land. Alternatively, maybe this is held through some sort of an